Good morning and welcome to the July 16th, 2026 meeting of the Lewis and Clark County Commission. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'd like to introduce those of us on this end of the room each meeting so that the public will know who is here. To my far right is Roger Baltz, our Chief Administrative Officer, and T.J. Murphy, representing the County Attorney's Office, trying to keep us legal in all we do. To my right is Commissioner Candace Payne. To my left, Commissioner Andy Hunthausen. I'm Tom Rolfe, Chair of the Commission this year. Over here to the left is Brandi Grande. She is our recording secretary, keeps track of all of our proceeding, and we'll get all of the information up on our website as soon as possible. On the other side of the bar, there's a place to register. We ask you to give us your name and contact information so that we can contact you should we need to later on. And then there's an agenda as well. Now I'm going to take a little bit of executive privilege and fill my desire for American history. There is maybe a couple more pieces to this of this left here. If anyone would like a copy of the piece I'm going to refer to, let me know afterwards. I'll see that you get a copy. This celebration of the 250th anniversary of our country this year gives me an opportunity to talk about something that is really near and dear to my heart, and I hope it is to yours as well. This is a particularly interesting one. If you've watched the play Hamilton, or maybe read some of American history, there's a little bit about a fellow by the name of John Laurens. Now, John Laurens was a son of a wealthy family in Charleston, South Carolina. His family were slave traders. They owned as many as almost 300 slaves to run their plantations. And when it came time for him to get involved, he could have gotten involved in our revolution in a safe space. He didn't. He wanted to be right in the middle of the action. And during the time of the revolution, he rejected his family's background in slave trading. And there's in the sheet I've handed out, he said he argued that it was hypocritical for Americans to fight for liberty while denying freedom to others. Although his plan was not approved, the proposal was one of the earliest efforts by an American leader to align the nation's practices on race more closely with our founding principles. He wrote to his father in 1778, and he said, "We Americans, at least in the southern colonies, cannot contend with a good grace for liberty until we shall have enfranchised our slaves." He got right in the middle of the battle. He fought at a number of the major battles of the revolution. He viewed the revolution as a moral cause rather than an opportunity for advancement. He repeatedly chose hazardous assignments, accepted difficult responsibilities, and subordinated his personal interests to the needs of the nation. His correspondence shows a man deeply committed to honor, duty, and virtue. In one letter he wrote, I am determined to seek no exemption from danger. This attitude, unfortunately, led to his death at 27 years old. He was killed at a battle after the Yorktown surrender. There were still skirmishes going on, and he was in South Carolina with leading troops and was killed on August 27th, 1782. It's the writer of the article says it is unfortunate that John Lawrence is not as widely remembered as many other leaders of the revolution. He died before he could participate in the Constitutional Convention in 1787, serve in national office, or leave behind the extensive writings that preserved the reputations of many founders. Yet his historical significance remains clear. Lawrence represented the revolution at its most idealistic. He believed that the Declaration's promise of equality carried genuine obligations and sought to build a nation worthy of the principles it proclaimed. As Americans mark 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, John Lawrence deserves renewed recognition. His courage in battle, his underappreciated diplomatic success, and his insistence that the nation's ideals should extend to enslaved African Americans as well make him one of the most compelling figures of the revolutionary era, whose death deprived the new nation of considerable promise. And I would encourage you to read the whole story about his life and death, and to contemplate that as we celebrate the freedoms we have and try to protect them. Now, let's get on to the business of the day. We have a number of consent action items. Mr. Baltz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. On a very different topic than what we just heard, these are 3 consent items. The first is item 2A, vendor claims report for the week ending July 17, 2026. Staff recommends approval of that item, and Jeromy is here as well, Commissioners. Item number 2B is public meeting minutes for June 9, 11, 16, 18, 23, and 30th, and July 2nd, 2026, and staff recommends approval of that item. The last item is item 2C, and that's a records disposal request, and staff recommends approval of that item as well. Thank you, Commissioners.
All right. Are there any questions from the Commission on the consent action items? Any questions from the Commission? Is there any public comment on the consent action items? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve consent action items A through C as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the Commission? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving consent action items A, B, and C as explained by Mr. Baltz, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. On to action items. Number 3A, grant award to Lewis and Clark County from the Montana Board of Crime Control.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Bob Bussey. I'm the Court Services and Diversion Coordinator for your Criminal Justice Services. In late April, Criminal Justice Services, CJS, received County Commissioner approval to apply for the Montana Board of Crime Control's fiscal year 2026 Domestic Violence Intervention Program. As a reminder, this application sought to acquire grant funds for a pilot misdemeanor probation program geared towards individuals convicted of a partner family member assault or PFMA, where 25% of the time of a current CJS staff member that is already certified as a misdemeanor probation officer will be used to facilitate community partnerships and develop comprehensive case management plans CJS partnerships will include Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, the Friendship Center, and as well as municipal courts and justice courts. On May 7th, 2026, CJS received an informational letter indicating the Montana Board of Crime Control's intent to award funds in the amount of $32,184. Montana Board of Crime Control sent an official letter confirming this award on June 26, 2026. The grant has no match requirement, and the anticipated grant schedule is 1 year with grant period starting July 1, 2026. I also have a letter approval from the Friendship Center that I can read at an appropriate time if you'd like. With that being said, we request the commission accept the request for the grant award.
Okay, are there any questions from the commission? Maybe talk a little bit about how this partnership works for our long-term goals.
I think our long-term goals is to prevent future victims of partner family member assaults in our community. By having a misdemeanor probation program, we hope to do more research and provide more information for those convicted of them of those kind of assaults, that maybe they could find better programming that they would can look within themselves to not further commit these kind of crimes in the future, and hopefully prevent further victims.
Okay. Are there other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Hedhausen.
thank you. It's great. I'm supportive of this and looking forward to the results of the program. Just a little bit about, you said that Friendship Center offered their support. That's great.
Yes.
So they see this as a valuable opportunity to work with those that may be committing these acts, and a way to hopefully head them in a better direction, as you just mentioned. You don't have to read the whole letter, but
Okay.
essentially their support, maybe just summarize it a bit, why they think this is valuable.
In the letter authored by Gina Baisdorfer, she is the former executive director of the Friendship Center now. She, in one key point that I saw this, said the lack of misdemeanor probation for offenders of crimes such as partner family member assaults is a gap of our community. There's an opportunity for misdemeanor probation to address factors in someone's life that may make them more likely to violate conditions of release and commit further violence. She did also state in her letter that the Friendship Center of Helena, it's their mission to be a safe haven for those affected by domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking, cultivating a community where everyone can flourish. And she believes that having a misdemeanor probation program in our community would help assist them in their goals and mission.
Great. Mr. Chair, if I could.
Yes,
So
go ahead.
some people out there might not understand what misdemeanor probation is. Just, I guess, just a quick description, like if someone comes through the system, how we would work with them. I'm assuming that it's opportunity for them to have one more person engaged with them in their post-conviction to help them work through things and get engaged with services and those kinds of things, make sure they stay on the right track. But you can describe it.
Yes, misdemeanor probation would be set up if someone is convicted of partner family member assault or a crime that is very close to that, like a no contact order, or a misdemeanor assault that gets pled down to a disorderly conduct or something along those lines. They'd be placed on probation for approximately 1 year, and they have a number of conditions that the judge would order, such as a 40-hour counseling class, fines, fees, maybe some other kind of counseling. What we would do is work with that offender to make sure they're doing these things in a timely manner, abiding by all no contact orders. We'd be out in the field, making sure that victims aren't staying with the offender. So it'd just be stuff like that. We'd be an extra layer of supervision on top of the monitoring that the county attorney's office already does.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions?
No, I think Andy took care of it.
All right. Let's see if there's any public comment. Is there any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the grant award to Lewis and Clark County from the Montana Board of Crime Control as explained by Mr. Bussey.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion among the commission? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the grant award to Lewis and Clark County from the Montana Board of Crime Control as explained by Bob Bussey, please say aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you for the great work. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 2026-76, adopting the final operating budget and setting appropriation authority for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027. And I'll recognize one of the busiest people around here over the last few weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the record, my name is Frank Cornwell, CFO of this county. Today, we are approving of the resolution for the final budget here. So I'm just going to read my little script here, and we'll ask for action. On Thursday, actually a week ago, the Commission met and voted and approved the preliminary budget, which included $136 million in appropriations. The budget set forth the legal spending limit by fund type presented in the resolution attachment A. The resolution authorized the chief administrative officer to make budget transfers and amendments as necessary throughout the fiscal year in accordance with state law, along with adjustments to additional revenues and reserves. The resolution also delegates department directors and elected officials to the authority to make transfers and revisions at the categorical level for their operating expenses. The budget establishes the framework for the county to operate for the fiscal year. As a reminder, the preliminary budget was adopted on June 23rd, and the public hearing was held on July 9th, last week, and no comment from the public was received. Staff recommends the Board of County Commissioners to approve Resolution 2026-76 to adopt the final operating budget and setting appropriation authority for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027. Thank you.
Over the last few years since you've joined the staff here, you've been working to get a lot of buy-in and support for the whole budgeting process. Could you talk a little bit about that and how we seem to have more complete, enthusiastic support from across the county?
Mr. Chair, thank you for the question. I think since I've been here, I don't want to take any more credit than deserve. I think that the departments are very serious. The department heads and the financial staff that we have out and that assist those departments work very hard, and they take the commission's goals and guidance very seriously. I never hear any pushback from them. They all understand the role and they understand the assignment. So since I've been here, I've worked very collaboratively with them, keeping everybody on track. I don't think I've had an argument as to why we're doing something as opposed to another. It's always how can we make it work and stay within the guidelines that you have provided. It's more of a collaborative effort. Everybody works very hard. As soon as budget season, actually before the budget season even starts, I have a lot of work already to get a sense of where the departments are wanting to go, where the challenges are, and what that budget season is going to provide us, and the discussions that we're going to have with the commission and all those new challenges. A lot of that work is already done. I would say in January and February, I would say for the most part, we get a sense of what's going to happen in March and May, and leading up to all the way to here to July. So, there's not much downtime when it comes to this process, but I think that it works very well. The staff, all the leadership, they take it very serious. So I really appreciate their work and help, and everyone, including the commission and Roger. So it's been the last. I'm going into my 4th year, believe it or not. It's been very, very positive experience.
The one of the things that I think that people may not realize that we have a different budgeting process here than virtually any other local government unit that I'm aware of anyway, and that long-term planning for anticipated expenses that are coming up and setting money aside. And there's a portion on that budget that I'd like to have you talk a little bit more about.
Mm-hmm.
A change in cash balances because of putting money into some of the into projects that we've been setting money aside for several
Mm-hmm.
years in some cases.
Mr. Chair, yes, you're 100% correct. We get to utilize reserves because of the long-term savings that we've done for, oh boy, now it's been, I believe this challenge really started in 2010 when my predecessor worked to get the capital improvement plans in place. And so that has allowed the county to be able to build up those capital improvement plans, make sure that we have a good justification to have those reserves available to spend down into these fiscal years. Now, we see that sometimes they don't get all the projects in place. They don't buy all the vehicles they have budgeted for. Actually, most of the times they don't do this because there's challenges. It's hard to spend money, believe it or not. But they do a very good, these plans do a very good job of setting up the departments and putting them in a good place to be able to stay nimble and be able to buy the products that they need in order to stay, that stay at the service levels that we want them to be at. It's really good to see that we have a low debt service. We don't have much debt, if any at all. We definitely don't have operational debt that we utilize in order to buy cars or to improve buildings. So this has been done for many, many years. So I'm lucky that this was in place prior to me being here. And I just get to maintain it and make sure that folks stay on the path to improving these plans. And I think the departments have really bought into them, and they work very hard to maintain them and to make sure that they're as accurate and appropriate as they can. So it's a moving target. It's a work in progress. We constantly are working on them, modifying them, trying to make them as accurate as we can. If we don't need to reserve as much, we will back off. We reserve less. We did that with ITNS last year. We backed off hundreds of thousands of dollars that we needed to reserve. That was a good move. So they didn't need to do as much reserving. That's due to the work that staff put into analyzing those plans. So I really appreciate the work that everyone does on those, and I appreciate the fact that the commission allows those CIPs to be a priority.
As I talk to other representatives of local governments or from around the state, I don't know of any other local government unit that has this kind of a budgeting process that is handled like we're supposed to be doing it in our own families, where we plan ahead for expenditures and we know that we're going to need a new uh, vehicle or new some repairs on our home. We're taking those principles and bringing them right here to the county government. And it's really unusual. I'm amazed at how unusual it is in county government for this kind of planning and to be implemented. Uh, let's tell the public a little bit about the amount of money that's going in, percentages of some of the budgets and whatnot that are going into long-term planning.
Mr. Chair, thank you. On that one, so it depends on the departments. Obviously, some like public safety with all of their patrol cars, they have a bigger percentage. I would say, I don't have the I can kind of look at it here. Yeah, it's 5 to 10% of each budget is going to go into long-term planning for capital improvement plan. Depends on which one it is, but the main ones that we have, public works with their road and bridges, a lot more is going to have a higher percentage. Public safety is going to have a higher percentage. Public health is going to have a lower percentage. They have less turnover on their fleet. They pretty much have a CIP that helps them manage a fleet of vehicles. It's a much smaller contribution annually. We have smaller departments like grants department. I don't even know if they have a CIP. If they do, it's for a copier. So we'll even say for those in the future. So, but that's a much smaller percentage of their overall budget. So it does ebb and flow, but I would say, anywhere between 3 to 10% can be a capital improvement contribution annually.
All right, but it's done. The money's set aside, and some of those changes on those kind of unusual amounts on this budget are because we've got the money set aside. This next year, we can spend that money to get the piece of equipment or work on the project, whether it's the elevator in the courthouse or whatever it is. And trying to find other sources to help fund some of these things. This long-term planning thing is I think unique. And I really want to congratulate the staff for doing a great job, and you for leading that operation to make it successful.
Very much appreciated. I'd like to point out, Roger made a comment yesterday when we met yesterday, and he said it's a commitment. I thought that really stuck with me. The staff and the departments are committed to these. It's a harder challenge than you think. It's less so now because we've had this in place for almost 20 years. But I can imagine why a lot of organizations don't do this, because they're committed to basically taking that out of their operation. They're making that money, that 5%. It's not available for their operations. They gotta really tighten their belts, especially those initial years, in order to fund that plan. And it takes a commitment, and you have to work very hard to build up these plans. And I really appreciate the fact that all the departments are committed to maintaining them.
And I just want to say that when I first got here, not all the departments were really enthusiastic about it, and the ones, but as they do it for 2 or 3 or 4 years, all of a sudden they realize what a savings it is, and how it's much easier to get projects funded properly, and without a bunch of money going to interest because you borrowed the money to do it.
Yeah. Correct, Mr. Chair. I completely agree. I don't think they would give them up anymore. When they started them, they probably didn't want to start them, and now that they have them, they would never give them up. It's one of those situations where it takes a little bit of sacrifice in the beginning, and then it pays off in the end.
Well, I've kind of gone on a little bit, but I'd like to leave an opportunity for the other commissioners to make have any questions or commitments. But I really believe in our budgeting system and what you're doing. I like to call it the Dave Ramsey approach to local government financing, and I think I really believe it works. Any other comments or questions? And I want to just comment. You've been around a long time, and you were part of getting this thing started, Commissioner Hunthausen. And I think you deserve some credit for this being done as properly too. Thank you,
Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. Though I can only take a smidgen because they had already begun when I came on board, even, and they began the process. But there were several departments that hadn't been able to make significant commitments to a CIP yet, and so really taking that ball and then running with it. How can we make this even bigger, better, more significant, and more ingrained in our process? And so it's been really good. It's been great. And as Frank said, that's exactly the response I get now. It's like, well, it was tough in the beginning, but now it is our savior. It saves us. Yeah. So we're saving for all those big ticket items, and so that when it's time to replace them, we're ready to go. From the copiers on up to vehicles and big machinery or big projects even. So it's great. Yeah, thanks. It's a really special thing. But all I did was say, yes, it's good. Let's keep it going and take it to the next level. They already had it going, so I can't take credit for that.
Well, your support was key in getting that done, and I just to get the staff, have the staff on board. You can't do it unless staff is on board doing the great job. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from this commission? Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve Resolution 2026-76, adopting the final operating budget and setting appropriation authority for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comment?
Mr. Chair, just
Commissioner Hunthausen.
briefly again, just a thank you to Frank and Roger and all of the department heads and elected officials that do take this very seriously. We very rarely, almost never, have anybody come in with something and say, I need some big pie in the sky thing. They're always, what are our parameters? What do we need to work within? And they bring balanced budgets forward and very responsible budgets forward. And it makes it not only easier for us, but it's a lot easier to justify to our public that, hey, we're really trying to be responsible with the funding that you send us, and that we're trying to turn that into services for the people that we serve. So just really proud of the budget that we bring forward every year and how seriously our team takes it. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
And I just want to make another comment. This wouldn't happen without the dedication of the finance staff and our chief administrative officer's support for this. It makes it happen. So thank you, Roger, for your work in this regard as well. And thank you for making Lewis and Clark County just a little unique and I think a little smarter than most local government units. Thank you. Anything else? Seeing no further comment, do we have a motion?
We have a motion, a second on the floor.
We have a motion and a second. Sorry about that. And we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of Resolution 2026-76, as explained by Frank Cornwell, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion passes unanimously. And thank you. Thank you all for great work on this project. I do want to mention for folks that may be listening on the on TV or catching this up, the handout I had earlier, if anybody would like it, if you get a hold of me, you either send me an email or stop by or a phone call. I'll make a copy of that little historical background information, and I just encourage everybody to think about the freedoms we have and the cost that those freedoms bore for people 250 years ago that we're very thankful that they did. We're thankful for their dedication. We're thankful for the freedoms we have in our country. We also always make an opportunity at the end of our regularly scheduled items for people to do public comment on anything that's under the purview, any subject that's under the purview of the county commission, but not on today's agenda. So is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we're adjourned.